when we were in school, social media wasn't as big as it is. And
Not.
now I'm like, everyone needs to have a presence. And you also be very mindful of what your presence is. So
Yes.
don't be like, oh, I'm behind the scenes or I'm in an office job. No one cares what I look like. Your image, it
Is
opens doors.
everything.
It can determine if you're a success or not. And so I hope people watching this aren't just like, oh, well, I don't want to be a model. I don't have to care about fashion.
Not at all.
People are always judging you based on how you look and portray
So
yourself. And
I
you
think
want it to be the best
it
version.
comes down to this elevator pitch, and it's an elevator pitch with the world. The first time you meet a new friend, a new individual, the first time we met,
Mm.
the reason we connected right away was because there's a lot of individuals that have that spark and that
Mm.
personality. You want to get to know them. There's something about yourself that you had that I was like, I need to get to know them. But there's also limited time. Like I was a guest at Sapna that day that we met, and
Mm.
my time was very limited in the sense that I was talking and like just getting back to people. And you have 10 seconds, 10,
Mm-hmm.
15 seconds with an individual that's like, is this person interesting enough to give another 10, 15 seconds
Yeah.
to? Then another 10, 15 seconds, then a minute to. And it's like that with anybody, right? When you go in for interviews. And this is why I'm hoping I can create enough of a network for myself and a platform for myself where I can go back to school and go back to Waterloo and go back to my high schools and talk to students, because a lot of the jobs I got were just because I was able to keep a conversation with someone and I dressed the part,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, for example, I had a chance. This was actually one of my biggest accomplishments in life, where I had an internship with Microsoft. So I
Mm-hmm.
worked for Microsoft
Oh,
for like about
nice.
5, 6 months. And the funny thing was, the reason I got the job was because of how I presented myself. And
Okay.
so when I got the call back after the interview, my manager at the time was like, "We're hiring you," and I legit told him, I know people you've interviewed in the same position as me. They are more qualified than I am. Why are you hiring me?
Mm.
And they're like, first off, you're the only person that walked in a gray suit, a blue shirt, blue tie, matching blue turban and pocket square. Everybody else came in like suit wasn't ironed, black suit, black tie. Yeah, it's classic, but like it doesn't tell me anything about your
Mm-hmm.
personality. So off the bat, they're like, you were so presentable, you were groomed, your beard was well kept, your turban was tied perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
You just off the bat, we were willing to give you that time and day to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's big, right? And so one of the biggest reasons I got my Microsoft job while I was not qualified for the position was because I played the part.
Mm-hmm.
That gives you the confidence to then talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
So again, people don't know this. People don't believe it when I tell them. I think the first time we talked, I told you this as well. I'm a very shy individual
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to girls, when it comes to talking to people, when it comes to making new friends, new network, new connections. I'm shy, but I've used the fact that fashion helps me, and I know I have that chip on my shoulder. I know I look good. I know I'm cleaned up. I know that if I approach a girl, she'll give me the time of day because I feel confident about myself. I know if I approach a business partner or a strategic vendor, that they'll give me the time because I play that role. And so because I knew I looked good that day, that my suit fit me properly, my colors were on point, it gave me the confidence to have that conversation with Microsoft associates.
Mm-hmm.
And the other reason they hired me was because they're like, you're the only person that actually changed. They didn't actually interview me. We ended up talking about soccer and basketball the whole time.
Oh, really?
And so they're like, we really don't know if you're qualified for it. We're hoping your kind of resume speaks for itself. But I
Yeah.
didn't really, they asked me bare questions. And it was just like the bare questions, is like, what are you good at? What aren't you good at? Can you do this? Can you do that? And the rest of it was about soccer and basketball. And so it was just that the way I dressed gave me the confidence to go in and be like, I'm going to break the stereotypical interview process.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have a conversation with them. They're going to get to know me,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to move forward from there.
Yeah.
And so going back to your point, dressing well, you don't have to be in floral. You don't have to be in the most
Mm-hmm.
expensive stuff. You just need things that fit you properly,
Mm-hmm.
colors that look good on you, and things that work for you. Going back to my original point, fashion isn't complicating,
Yeah.
but it's important. It's
Mm-hmm.
very important. You don't need to be a model. You don't need to be a fashion personality. You don't need to be on camera to look good and dress good.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do it for yourself
Mm-hmm.
because it's very important, and it gives you that confidence to keep pushing forward.